Hello, this is Mr. Muller for lesson 6-4, solving special systems. So in this lesson we're going to be looking at what we looked at the first couple days of chapter 6, but instead of finding solutions, we're going to find how many solutions we have. So our options for tonight's homework are either going to be 0, 1, or many solutions. So we're not actually solving, we're just really going to set them up, and then hopefully once we set them up we can kind of tell how many solutions are going to have. Okay, so we need to know what inconsistent system is, a consistent system, independent and dependent system are. So when we look at something like this, consistent systems have at least one solution and they're intersecting lines. So right there, they're crossing, they're intersecting. Inconsistent systems have no solutions because they're parallel lines. And I think we had one problem on homework from before that talked about that, so we should be used to that. And then we have these that are exactly the same. So these are going to be our many solutions because they are the same line. Okay, so if we're looking at some examples of what they look like here, so kind of summing them all up on one picture here. So number of solutions is 1, they have different slopes, and they would cross one time like that. Number of solutions is many, they have the same slope and the same y-intercept, and there you see, just you can't even see the blue line because they're right on top of each other. And number of solutions for this kind of graph is none. They have the same slope, but they have different y-intercepts, and that means they are parallel lines, so they're never going to touch. So things like that. So a problem like this, so y equals x minus 4, and negative x plus y equals 3. Well, this one's going to end up being parallel, as we can see from our picture, but let's figure out why. So it says minus x, so to make it say y equals, I would add x to both sides. So I add x to both sides. So now I'm really looking at y equals x plus 3. Now let's look at these slopes here. So this one says y equals x minus 4, so my slope is 1x. This one says y equals x plus 3. My slope is 1x. Well, we figure out that when things have the same slope but a different y-intercept, same slope, this is a 3, this is a negative 4, different y-intercepts, we find out they're going to be parallel lines and have no solutions. Alright, kind of the same thing here. So y plus 2 plus, or y plus 2x plus 4 equals 0. So let's kind of do the same thing. Let's bring all this stuff over to the left side and see what it looks like. So if I add y, add 4 to both sides, I end up with 2x plus y plus 4. And it equals 0. And this one's a little bit different because it's a little out of order, but we can hopefully tell I have a positive 2x, a positive 2x, a positive y, a positive y, a positive 4, and a positive 4. So if I wanted to graph these, they would be the exact same. So this is going to be one of those that has many solutions, or all solutions, whatever you want to write. So then looking at this one, again looks kind of similar, but let's solve just in case. So this one, let's make both these say y equals. So I have 5x plus y equals 8. So let's subtract 5x from both sides. So then I'm left with y equals negative 5x plus 8. And let's go over here to this bottom one. So 8 plus y, subtract 8, subtract 8. So I'm left with y equals negative 5x minus 8. Okay, so again, this is why we double check it, because they both look the same, but they end up not being the same because one says plus 8 and one says minus 8. But they do have the same slope, so I know this is going to be a no solution problem, because since they have the same slope, they're both going to be parallel, so they're not going to have the same line. Alright, kind of the same thing here. Doesn't matter what you solve for. It is easier if you solve for y most of the time. So here on this top one, I need to get rid of this 2x. So minus 2x minus 2x and so I'm left with a negative y, that's important, equals negative 2x plus 4. And remember, when I have a negative in front of that, it's really a negative 1, so I'm going to divide by negative 1. So those are going to cancel, those are going to cancel, and a positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative. So my top line now says y equals 2x minus 4. And then kind of the same thing with my bottom line. So let's get rid of all this. So if I add 2x here, add 2x to this side then. And same thing, I need to get rid of that 5. So minus 5, minus 5. So I'm left with y equals, I added 2x to both sides, so I'm going to have a positive 2x. And then 1 minus 5 is a negative 4. So then, once we figure out those are both y equals, we realize that they look exactly the same. So this is going to be another many solutions problem. So this is why we kind of need to work these out. We just can't say, oh, that looks the same, it's going to be all solutions, because this one looked pretty similar, and they ended up being a no solutions problem. And this one looked pretty different, and it ended up being a many solutions problems. So make sure we are solving the equation first, either for x or for y, it doesn't matter, or even for the number. If we get the number by itself, just as long as it says one number or one variable equals something else, and we can kind of tell what kind of solution problems they're going to be.